We've audited this in so many different ways, and they're not using the microphone, and we're not taking that on trust. But it's so hard to convince anyone of this because it really feels like they are.
You probably know the feeling. You'll be scrolling through your phone and you'll suddenly be shown an ad for a product you've just been chatting about with a friend. Last week we discussed exactly that, the suspicion that our phones are listening to our off-air conversations and trying to sell us products. But are we just picking up on coincidences? We don't know, but we're suspicious. Let's speak to James Ball, journalist and author of The System, Who Owns the Internet and How It Owns Us. James, morning to you.
Good morning.
So here's the thing that Kate and I both feel very strongly, that we have conversations all the time and then we go on Instagram, we've been talking about M&M and then a video advert for M&M comes up or something like that. Or we've been talking about vitamin supplements and then an advert for vitamin supplements comes up. Is that likely to be true, or are we just paranoid maniacs?
I don't think you're paranoid maniacs, but you're not right either. I was trying to be diplomatic. None of us trust the tech companies. They are creepy. They do try and follow us in all sorts of ways, but they're so good at just following what we do online and how we go around the internet. And we see so many adverts that the combination of that tracking and coincidence means that it feels like they're listening to us. We've audited this in so many different ways, and they're not using the microphone, and we're not taking that on trust. But it's so hard to convince anyone of this because it really feels like they are.
I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'll say that from the outset. I'm a pretty logical person. I dismiss that kind of thing. I will tell you exactly what happened. At 4:30 in the morning, Stig and I had a conversation about M&M. Just not on the radio. The phones were not on. They were by our sides, but the phones were not involved. Didn't Google M&M, didn't look him up, didn't search on Spotify, didn't do anything like that. Just talked about it. I went home that night, same day, maybe 12 hours later. On Instagram, I get a whole load of videos of M&M, and I have not searched M&M. I don't listen to M&M. I haven't talked about M&M apart from that one conversation. Explain that to me.
So there's a couple of reasons it can happen. Firstly, you see thousands of adverts in a day. Like, there are so many of them, and most of them your brain just completely blots out because that's what we do with adverts. So it's only if something like that happens that they stay in our heads. That's the psychological bit. The flip side is that something will have happened so that you were talking about Eminem. He may have come up in your Insta feed for some other reason, and you lingered on a video briefly and then scrolled on and didn't think about it. There might have been some other factor. There might have been a headline that came up in the sort of Google recommended headlines. And so you often chat about something you see, forgetting where you saw it, and then it comes around online. It's so unnerving. It feels like they do it, and they track you're browsing way beyond where you think they do.
And that's true of Wi-Fi, isn't it, as well? That's the point that's been made to us, that if you are sharing a Wi-Fi with someone, the data can sort of flip between devices because of the Wi-Fi.
Exactly. If someone else in your household looks at something, it's there. It's not just the case that Meta, who owns Facebook and Instagram, sees what you browse on Facebook and Instagram. They see what you browse on the rest of the internet. So they also see what you're looking at elsewhere. And so sometimes people think, well, I didn't Google anything. They might actually see, if you're on a newspaper website and happen to look at an article, they might know about that, and so next time you're on your Insta feed, show you. And so there's so many different ways they can get it. By the way, the reason they don't listen to the microphone is it costs them too much to do it. The processing would cost a fortune. It would drain your phone battery, and it's traceable when something uses your phone microphone. So none of this is based on trusting Mark Zuckerberg not to do it or saying that they're too nice to do it. It's that we can test that they don't do it, and it would cost them more than they would make in advertising.
Is that true of smart speakers as well? Because people think that Alexa's listening to them.
It's so easy to trigger one of those by accident that it's not there. But again, independent researchers who would love to catch them doing this, you would make your name if you caught them doing this in the security world. So far, we do not think they're doing it. It gets tested pretty often because, again, everyone wants to catch them in the act, because everyone thinks they're doing it, But so far, any time someone's checked, any way they've tried to look it up, they're not actually doing it.
James,
And I can tell I haven't convinced you.
James, we can see from your grin that you're so used to having this conversation with people who just do not understand how the internet works. But I'm sorry, as much as I respect you, and we really do, I don't buy it. I think they're listening.
I completely respect that you're going to think that. It's always the way. I never win this argument.
Okay, well, James, we're glad to have at least an antiphonal voice for our own paranoid musings, because at least that's in the realm of balance. Good to speak to you, my friend. Take care.
Thank you.
That's James Ball there. He's author of The System, Who Owns the Internet and How It Owns Us. Pippa says we started random conversations about camper vans and donkey sanctuaries to test if our phones were listening. Within minutes, Facebook ads started to appear. Should we try? Okay, someone try it today.
But we can't say it because otherwise it will.
Yeah. Pick a subject. I'm not going to say what the subject is. Pick a random subject. Talk at your phone for 2 minutes and tell us tomorrow if you got adverts or not. We won't say what the subject is, but just pick a random subject that we.
Let's all do a test today.
Yeah.
Okay,
Otherwise, it would not be picked. So it can't be anything you've heard in the news. It can't be anything that's sort of in the ether. And out of the ether subject, start talking about it.
Can we finally, Fraser, we know you don't think your phone is listening to you. Jenny.
She's a future-facing journalist, so she'll
I am a
have that.
future-facing journalist.
Is your phone listening to you?
Yes, everything is listening. Whether or not they're actively listening is another question. But I have to tell you all, I have to break it to you, the age of privacy is over. We need to stop having analog expectations of privacy in the digital age. Everything is collecting data on us, our browsing habits, our dating preferences, our medical records, our gait as we walk around the house. Whether what they do with the data is another question, but there is an enormous amount of data being stored in a place beyond our control that can be sold as a commercial asset or hacked into or traded on at some point. Sorry to break it to you all, but that's the truth.
So do you think, though, to call a spade here, Jenny, that if you and I were to have a conversation about
Eminem, say,
in front of our phone, it's possible that we'd get adverts or videos related to Eminem on a social media feed thereafter?
I don't think it's that crude, but I do think that the data is being stored and may be used at a later point for other purposes. But the idea of it actively listening and trying to target us with advertising now, maybe not. But all that information is definitely being gathered, and we shouldn't assume otherwise.
I like the idea that it's measuring your gait, like how you walk.
It's true. Your Alexa knows how tall your children are because it measures your gait as you walk around the house, as your kids walk around the house.
Oh. I wish my Alexa was even half that intelligent. I mean, I find all of these technologies so bad, so ill-responsive to what you want it to do, that I find it hard to believe that it's super intelligent. I wish it were just even reach kind of bovine intelligence. That would do me.
So, because there is an argument that you get better ads, you get a better quality experience if it knew what you really wanted.
Yes, exactly. If only, and it doesn't. I get dreadful adverts.
And Jenny? Look what we are prepared to exchange. Look what we're prepared to give up in exchange for convenience. That's what I would say to you.
Is that not a definition of modernity, giving up things in exchange for convenience?
How depressing. How thoroughly depressing.
Should we leave it there?
Yeah. I don't trust it. It gave me an Eminem video. We were talking about Eminem. That's all I'm going to say. I know I'm obsessing about it.
It was so funny. We've now had two experts on saying that there's no active listening, and it goes, well, they gave me an Eminem video, so I'm not prepared to believe you.
You were in the conversation with me.
I also think if you think the worst of the world, it's probably true.
I don't mind. I'm not offended by it.
You're like Fraser. You want better services.
I want better services. Although I noticed that my younger colleagues would never have an Alexa in the house because they're completely convinced that it does listen to you. So maybe it's a generational thing.
I've got one, but then I kind of think if you really want to listen to my bad chat in my house or me like pootling around and jumping up and down the stairs, if that's your deal, then you crack on.
Yeah, and I don't think I say anything interesting at home, so they can knock themselves out.
You save it all for the radio, Fraser.
I do.
There we go. Fraser Nelson, Jenny Kleeman, both interesting, lovely stuff.